Well, what are medians? I'm glad you asked. Medians bisect the segments. You could use layman's terms and say, we cut the sides in half. And that's what I'm going to write, because this is not the technical definition. This is just me just throwing out a quick definition. Yeah, they cut. Medians cut. Grammatically correct. Not the technical definition, but grammatically correct. They cut the sides in half. And let's go a little further. They connect to the opposite vertex. You're going to see what I mean in just a second. The real technical definition would say it is the segment that connects the opposite vertex to the median of the opposite side, or the vertex to the median of the opposite side. So what I want to do is cut each side in half, and I'm going to do that with my X-Acto knife. No, I'm kidding. I'm just going to measure them, and you can eyeball them. 9, half of 9 would be 4.5. So here's median number 1. Take the halfway mark of this, again, eyeball it if you need to, connect that to that. You can see where this is going already, because you know what the lesson is, concurrent lines. These three medians are going to meet at one point. That point's going to be called the centroid. There's going to be something fantastic about the centroid that I'm going to get really excited about and write in red all over the place and run outside the box. Okay, let's measure the other two sides. See my bendy ruler. And let's see. That looks like about 8.3. Half of 8.3 would be 4.15. There we go. So we'll connect those. I do recommend a pencil for this. There we go. And now if you want to cheat, and if you're eyeballing it, I recommend you do cheat. Connect this point with that centroid, and if you've eyeballed it pretty well, it should be about half. Hopefully I'm going to be right here. When I was in high school, my geometry teacher was all excited about this thing we had called, I think it was called a Myra. I need to look up the name of it. It's a really neat device. It kind of stood, it was in the shape of the capital letter I. It was three-dimensional. And you would set it down, like on an angle, and it would show the reflection, but you could also see through it. It was like a mirror that you could see through. And so you were able to bisect segments, angles, just by looking at it. It was really cool. She had a whole set of them. I'd love to have one right about now. All right, in the meantime, boom. There's your centroid. What's a centroid? It's cool. It's actually not going to fit in this little space, not like that one did either. I'm going to write this one up here because it's just so exciting. The centroid is, it's going to bug you. Feel free to write it down there if you want to, but I'm going to put it up here. The centroid is the center of gravity. What? Okay, this is neat. If you have a piece of plywood, consistent thickness, consistent density, and you cut it in the shape of a triangle, and you do what's about to be done right now, where you cut this side in half, cut this side in half, and cut this side in half. Label them the same. Label these two the same, these two the same, these two the same, but don't label all of them the same, because not all sides are the same length, right? So if you've cut this in half, this in half, this in half, and you label the centroid by connecting your medians, you can take like a pencil eraser, and you can balance that piece of plywood on the end of a pencil at the centroid. It's the center of gravity. There is just as much mass distributed out from here that will cause this thing to balance perfectly right there. Amazing. I love it. You do too, don't you? Okay, this next part's a little wordy, but you'll see the math behind it in a second. The centroid splits the medians into segments, not into segments, I mean they are, but into segments in a 2-to-1 length ratio. Here's what that means. If I told you, let's switch colors, if I told you that this segment right here is X units long, you would know that this is 2X units long. Okay? If I told you that this segment, I'm just picking random variables, if I told you this entire segment was 12, okay, then this would be a third of 12, and that would be the other 2/3 of 12. So if this was Y, then this would be 2Y. If this was Z, this would be 2Z. Now, along with that, whatever this is, you've cut it in half. That's going to come in handy